That's absolutely incredible. I think that covered absolutely every question. You are currently, fighting to be the captain of the Titanic. You are battling it out as the ship's going down. So all of you guys who think that you're in the know and you're going to be saved and you know what you're talking about, you will be the first ones killed off by them because they don't care about you either. And eventually everyone would end up dead if we continue to allow you bag of idiots to run this thing. So please wake up and realize you are not Dr. Doom. Okay, you are not going to fly away from this planet after you destroy it. You live here. You live here. Act like you know what that means, please. Not that I really expect any of you to do it because you're dead set on going underground while all of us are dying off on the surface. But that will never happen either. That will never happen. So,
well, be fast. Get rid of them.
Yeah, but the real people have to stand up. I mean, that is essential. So it's really important that this information that Kim just shared, nobody knows this. No one has ever shared this publicly. That is an incredible drop of information. And so that's why it's very important for Kim to have a platform, because when you have someone in the position where the previous individuals in that position were worshipped as gods, right? Now she won't even allow me to say these things, right? She won't allow anybody to look at her as a savior, because what she always talks about is if we're going to be saved, you're going to have to save yourself. You're going to have to look for God in you, not outside you. And if we don't come together on that understanding, that is the universal revelation that can change everything.
Wow. Okay, that's wonderful. Our next question. Dear Kim and Tank, in our observation, we see people being fragmentized in their energy and consciousness by the anti-human forces. People get triggered and thereby thrown out their heart frequentile into the programmed neurological emotionally react mode and subsequently lower their anger, pain, disappointment, etc. It's from a different country, so the language is a bit off. From your experiences, how can we deal with the triggers and fragmentation in daily life so we keep our frequency high and stay detached from the power game of the anti-human forces? It's a question from the Netherlands.
Hank, do you want to take it, or do you want me to take it?
I know, given my perspective will probably be slightly different on this, right? I'm a fervent believer in understanding that all things work for our good across the board. I'm also a believer in self-righteous indignation, to be quite honest, and I think you're entitled to it. I think that you have every right to be furious. As a matter of fact, I think you have the obligation to be furious at times. As a matter of fact, I worry about people when terrible things happen and they don't have a reaction because they're trying to be positive. It's not positive to ignore people's suffering. It's not positive to know that there's kids being raped, eaten, killed. That's not positive. It's not positive to know we're being poisoned and do nothing, to expect the magical universe to take care of these problems for us. None of these things are positive. When it comes down to it, being stagnant is one of the lowest possible frequencies that you could resonate with, of just waiting for someone else to do something while you sit and do nothing. That frequency is much, much lower than someone who's angry fighting for their children, someone who's speaking up, reacting to things that are happening that are awful. Those responses, once you realize that perhaps it's not something negative that's happening, but it's the universe inspiring you, encouraging you to go and do something about it. Now, doing something, in my experience, no matter how terrible the situation is, no matter how awful you feel, doing something, taking action, is always the best way to keep your frequency high, because then you know that you are part of the solution. Now, I've had people actually get concerned about me when they've seen me mad. I'm very in control of my emotions. When I'm mad, believe me, I'm enjoying that I'm mad. I'm disgusted with them, and I have no regrets about that. When I speak out about the horrors that are being committed against humanity, I own it. I'm okay with it. I'm not stressed out and flustered. I'm furious and righteously so.
Mhm.
And I really, I know a lot of people would not agree with that, right? Because it's the
Oh, no, I'll attest to that happens. Yeah, for sure.
So
Yes.
that's my feeling on it, Kim. What do you think?
Well, on a personal level, when we go anywhere, right? We're entering other people's, what I call a PSI field. So you have energy that constantly flows through your body, right? And it kind of makes like a donut, right? With you kind of in the center. And then it kind of comes together at what you call in the center. It would be like a vortex, an energy vortex, right? So you want to keep as much positive shielding around you as possible, especially when you're going to really crowded places or places you might think might be really negative, like you have to go to a government building as an example, standing in line at the DMV or one of these places, right? So, and I understand the energies are changing so rapidly right now that, this week was honestly a killer. There were 2 or 3 days
Wow.
in there that, I was just exhausted. It was all I could do to keep charging, just to keep going. There were a lot of angry people around me for no reason whatsoever. Driving was erratic for other people. And I felt like I was playing bumper cars on the freeway. It was insane, right? So what do we do to protect our own selves, right? And those we love. So maybe your family or your close loved ones don't understand that how important shielding is and how to do it. But it's mainly to take that energy that flows through you. And if you feel like you need more, like there's not enough coming into your PSI field, then you can actually focus and you can see the lights in the sky. So you see these little particles. At first they look like water droplets, but then they start looking like sparkles once you kind of focus in and kind of makes your eyes cross a little bit. And then focus on bringing all those over into your head into like the biggest ball, and then you pull it into your body, and then it starts dispersing in that shield around you. So everybody has a different method that they feel comfortable with. That's the way that I do it. That's the way I usually teach people to do it. And you can also do that on behalf of your loved ones too. So when your spouse or your kids and they don't really understand what's going on and they're kind of having a really tough day, you can just focus that light over their head, right? And start pulling it and then pulling it into their body so that they start to feel better too. And maybe some of that negativity goes away. And I know Netherlands is a really, really tough place. A lot of the universal excrement hangs out there, and I know that. So hang in there, but keep yourself shielded. They can't get in. You can do the whole thing for your entire house, as an example, as you sleep. You can do this for an entire town if you wanted to. Once you get really good at it, you can just keep shielding. You can shield a whole, soccer field full of people if you wanted to. So that would be my suggestion, at least while we're going through all these crazy ups and downs and waves, right now.
Kim taught me that one of the first conversations we ever had. And so it's been about 3 years, and I practiced that. I don't know if I would have survived if I didn't do that, constantly try to understand that better. So, I know I'm more pushing all the time, but I've seen that work. And that's a real practical thing of actually being able to see something with your physical eyes and literally feel it come into your body. It's not just pretend. It's a real powerful thing that I've watched work over and over again.